What's up YouTube, Teamception here with the last video on this channel for this year. I kind of wanted to do something big since it's whatever, it may not be as big. Apparently I clicked something for no reason. Anyways, I'm going to start this off by thanking everyone that's been here with me the entire year. New and old, I mean anyone that's subbed to me this year or whatever, thank you for for subbing to me. Thank you for those of you who actually watch my videos, that submit positive feedback, negative feedback to help me improve or whatever. I hope that you all had a great Christmas, and I hope that you all have a great New Year's. Starting next year, I'm praying that a lot of things will change for my YouTube channel. As I stated in I think my last video, my mom has been approved for her disability, which means that I might be able to actually start going to locals more often. I'm not sure if I can actually do the dual videos at the locals though, because I know how YouTube is. Music in the background usually makes third party whatever stuff, and I can't put monetization on those videos or whatever. I know that some people do dual videos like that or whatever, and I don't know if they have them monetized or not, so I'm going to be looking into that. If you guys have any kind of feedback on that or whatever, let me know, because if I can get dual videos and just monetize them on my channel, it would be a big help. I mean, if it can help me bring in a whole bunch of money on my AdSense, that would be great. This year me and MCO40, we both started this board, Duelist Incorporated. As you can see, it's still snowing for the holidays, and it follows the opposite direction of your mouse, as you can see. We have gone from roughly 300 or so members to 1,487. The 300 were from a few years ago when the board had died. Let's see here. Here, the board statistics. I believe this board started on August 9th. Yeah, August 9th, 2005. Our record was from June this year. We got 200 members in a single day, which was amazing. And I mean, a lot of them is from Robbie subscribers. He really does need to shout out the board again. We also would love to get some other major YouTubers on here as well. It would help bring in a lot of traffic and make this board a hell of a lot more active than it is. I mean, it's still pretty active for a Yu-Gi-Oh board on Zeta boards, but I mean, we still want to get more members. If you guys do want to join, the link will be down below. I don't know how well you'll be able to read that, but it says YugiTube, so we do have like an area where you can post your YouTube channel link or whatever. You can post up your YouTube videos on there and all that other shit. So I mean, if you guys are interested in that, again, the link will be down below. Now, as for what this video is actually going to be about, my friend has been doing kind of a segment on his channel recently about a ninja deck. Now, ninja deck, I kind of gave him the idea from this. I don't know how many of you guys know Card Kingdom, aka on YouTube, CKD0021. He's a big person on Japanese videos regarding Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as a few other games like Duel Masters and stuff. They had done, I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 dual videos with this ninja deck, and they obviously would put up a thing regarding the actual deck itself. My friend Jeffrey, aka Sora1992EX here on YouTube, has been doing a as you can see, segment ninjas assassin. He's up to number 3, and he needs 9 more likes until he can do his next assassin video. Again, I gave him the idea, but his deck's slightly different. I think he runs a second Starlight Road, and I think he changed something else. I know that in the extra deck he put in a Stardust, because originally this deck does not have any synchro monsters in it whatsoever. So yeah, let's just get on to basically the full deck and whatnot. So as you can see here, we start with Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is a way to send a lot of your darks that you want in the graveyard to the graveyard. The main one that you really want to send to the graveyard is DD Scout Plane, which we'll get to here in a minute. But it's also useful for a few other cards, which we'll get to as we go along. The good thing that you really need to know about is just whenever it's summoned, it doesn't have to be special summoned, flip summoned, whatever. It can be in any form or way. Up next we have two Axe Dragon Newts. Axe Dragon Newt is a level 4 2000 attack dragon monster. The reason for this is because you use the Super Ninja art, of transformation, and you kind of need to have something to target for it in order to use that ninjutsu art. So Axe Dragon Newt's in here. Now there's a real reason why Axe Dragon Newt is actually in here instead of something bigger. The reason for that is if you tribute off an Exceed monster, they don't have a level, they have a rank. But you can be, it just says send one monster from both players' sides of the field and then summon a monster from your deck who's of the specific types with a level equal to or less than. Meaning if you only tribute off a ninja monster like your Hanzo, you still summon out a level 4 or lower dragon and so on from your deck. So Axe Dragon Newt is in here for that reason. It's also a dark, so you can use it in conjunction with a whole bunch of other things in here. It's also summonable off of Summoner Monk and whatever else. So, alright, now we're going to get to the DD Scout Planes. Now, there are a few other cards in here that are really, really supportive about it. It allows you to go into a lot of your rank 2s. Stack runs 4 or 5 rank 2s. So, I mean, it's really, really good in here. It uses the Strike Ninja thing, as I'm pretty sure a lot of you can see. There is Strike Ninja in here. And it just sets up a lot of your major plays. Up next is Destiny Hero Plasma. Now this is going to be a lot of really random to you guys, but you should really not knock this until you try it yourself. Just like Jeffrey, aka Sora, did. This deck only runs one Plasma and one Stratos. Now these two obviously work in conjunction with each other because Stratos searches out your Plasma. The reason for this is because your Plasma contribute off DD Scout Planes, it contribute off all kinds of shit, and it allows you to not only negate your opponent's face-up monster effects, but it allows you to absorb one of their monsters and increase Plasma's attack power. This deck actually does that quite a lot, namely with just the 3 main deck cards, but it can do it with the Sigmas as well. Obviously, the Stratos is to search out your Plasma. There is actually another reason for this in this deck, on top of searching out Plasma, so, Up next is kind of like your heart and soul of the deck. It's Hanzo. Whenever it's normal summoned, you add a ninjutsu art from your deck to your hand, and when it's flip or special summoned, you add one ninja monster except for Hanzo to your hand. So you use it to search out Strike Ninja or the Upstart, the Upstart Golden Ninja. So yeah. That's basically its main purpose, and like all other ninjas, it's meant to be tributed for the ninjutsu art. Strike Ninja. This is a peculiar card. There's only one in this deck, and the purpose of it is to remove from play your Scout Planes. But it helps you do a whole bunch of setup with your Scout Planes, which is all you really need. It lets you spam the field and whatnot. There's another use for DD Scout Plane that I'll also get to. But Strike Ninja with DD Scout Plane sets up a lot of major plays. It is just ridiculous. So yeah, 2 Summoner Monks. Now, in this deck, you basically have 5 Summoner Monks. The reason why I say this is because the majority of this that you want to actually summon from your deck is actually ninjas. Summoner Monk searches out your Strike Ninja, it searches out your Upstart Golden Ninja, your Hanzo, your Stratos, your Dragon Newts, and your what's it called, Armageddon Knight. If you bring out Armageddon Knight, you can use it to send Scout Plane to the grave, Exceed into Level Vault Chain, and send another Scout Plane to the graveyard. This immediately sends your 2 Scout Planes to the graveyard for later abuse with Strike Ninja. With Stratos, it automatically searches out your Plasma, just free search. Same thing goes with Hanzo. You can special summon Hanzo from your deck and get any ninja you want. It could be Strike Ninja or Upstart or Golden. If you search out Golden Ninja and discard a trap card, you can still bring out one of your ninjas, but you summon out a 3rd monster. You can do Summoner Monk, Upstart into something or whatever, and just completely be a troll. But yeah, that's pretty much its main purposes for Exceed purposes and bringing out things from your deck to do other things like summon from the deck or send from the deck to the graveyard. Now the next card is kind of the biggest troll of this deck, next to Plasma. but it actually works, and you have to kind of, again, you have to kind of play it to understand it. It's called the Atmosphere. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a card, I think, that only has one print in Japan, which is a limited edition 17. It is I think, a level 8. It says, this card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card can only be special summoned by removing from play 2 monsters you control and 1 monster from your graveyard. Again, the Abuse with the Scout Plane. Once per turn, you can select one face-up monster your opponent controls and equip it to this card. You can only equip 1 monster to this card at a time, and this card gains attack and defense equal to the respective attack and defense of the monster equipped by this effect. This means that you can absorb anything big, and you can just say, here's a big middle finger to your face. My friend Sora has absorbed many times Blackluster Soldier, Scrap Dragon, Catastor, etc., etc. There's another thing that I can actually do with Atmosphere in this deck, and I'll get to that here in a second. Up next is the last monster for this deck. It's Upstart Golden Ninja. The reason for this is basically to summon out a ninja from your deck and do whatever, exceed summon, etc. It brings out your Strike Ninja, it brings out your Hanzo, it brings out another copy of himself, etc. It's just that. It's also a solid 1800 defense. Onto the spells, we have 2 Creeping Darkness. Creeping Darkness is an amazing card with DD Scout Plane. Again, DD Scout Plane is a big part of this deck. You kind of have to have it. Creeping Darkness is a new card coming out in the next set. It's a super in Japan. God knows what it's going to be in the TCG. It says banish 2 dark monsters from your graveyard and add 1 level 4 1 level 4 monster that's a dark type from your deck to your hand. So this means you can add Summoner Monk, you can add Hanzo, you can add Strike Ninja, you can add Armageddon Knight, you can add Axe Dragonood if you want to. So it searches out a lot of key cards for your deck. It's kind of like a Reinforcement of the Army, but for darks. Up next is the staple, Dark Hole. I don't really need to explain this. Foolish Burial. It's just another way of dumping your DD Scout Plane to the grave, as well as your warriors, and I'll get to why that's important here in a few seconds. Heavy Storm is a staple, don't need to explain. Monster Reborn, staple, I don't need to explain. MSC, not exactly a staple, and it's not really good to be ran in 3s because it tends to clog your hand when it's used in 3s. So 2 plus the Heavy Storm is more than enough, and if I happen to have an MST I don't need in my hand, I can discard it for Summoner Monk. Up next is your standard Broda. It's kind of a staple for this deck. I mean, you're running ninjas. All ninjas are warriors except for White Dragon Ninja. So, yeah. Now, here's the reason why I was talking about Foolish Burial. It's also good in junction with Armageddon Knight because they both send cards to the graveyard, and you can recover any of those monsters from your graveyard back to your hand. Summoner Monk, you can send Hanzo, Strike Ninja, or whatever to your graveyard. You can use, or you can send Plasma too, and add it straight to your hand with the warrior returning alive. You can use Foolish Burial to send anything from the graveyard, or from your deck to the grave, meaning Upstart Golden. You can use it with whatever and just add it back to your hand. So it's just really good for doing that. I mean, if your one Strike Ninja dies somehow, like if they warning it or whatever, and you have no other way of getting it back outside of Reborn or Call the Haunted, it becomes a problem. So you want to have that in there just in case. And as often as I've seen my friend use this deck, he's actually used the Warrior Returning Alive quite a few times. So it's actually a very useful card. Up next is Bottomless Trap Hole. Bottomless Trap Hole is great for the rabbit matchups. I mean, again, this deck's not exactly, big. It's not like it can actually keep up with a TCG style deck. It may actually, people might actually pick up on this whenever Order of Chaos does come out, and they may actually try and build something very, very similar to this, which I wouldn't blame them. It's a great deck. But I mean, Rabbit is a problem for this deck. I've actually noticed that it is a very big problem for this deck, and Bottomless Trap Hole really does hurt it. So you kind of have to have it in there. Now you have Call of the Haunted, 2 of them. The reason why you have them is because you can bring back your Armageddon Knight or your Stratos. Like if they negated your Stratos so you couldn't search, you can bring it back and still search. You can do the same thing with Hanzo. You bring back Hanzo and search out a ninja from your deck. If they previously killed off your Strike Ninja and you have no other way of bringing it back, you have your Call of the Haunted for it. So, if you wanted to go Super Art and Tribute for their monster, then you attack, then you bring Call back, or you bring back Strike Ninja with Call, and you remove Scout Planes at the end phase to get more monsters and shit. It's just retarded. Next, We have only 2 copies of Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation. The reason why you only use 2 is because 1, you only have 2 targets for it, and 2, you mainly want to use your Hanzo in here to search out your other ninjas. And you do that by special summoning with Summoner Monk or Call of the Hunted or Monster Reborn. And I timed out, so hang on. I'm surprised I timed out, so I apologize for that. This is why I hate doing network. Well, part of the reason why. Back to the Ninja deck. Okay, so I was on the Super Ninja Art. You only use 2 in here because, again, you only have 2 targets, and most of the time you're going to be special summoning Hanzo anyways. Next up, we have 2 Scrubbed Raids. Now, this card's a little unorthodox. It's prone to MST, of course, as well as Heavy Storm, but it's still a very good card. My friend, every time I've watched him play, he's actually managed to stall for a very long time with Scrubbed Raid. This card hurts a lot of decks right now that are very dependent on attacking. Tech Genius for one. Another one would be Rabbit if they can't negate it with Logia or something. It's just really good for stalling out and getting your setups, that way you can do whatever. And if you already have a way of removing scout planes, or at least one scout plane and another Dark for Strike Ninja, you can still keep tributing off that scout plane and just doing whatever. Whenever you use Exceed monsters, you have more than one thing there. So if you tribute it off, you can send your scout planes off of Gachi or whatever back to the graveyard for your Strike Ninja, which is just really good. Standard Solemn Warnings, I'll get to this right now. There is no Solemn Judgment in here. I don't know why the Card Kingdom guy did not use them in the deck, but he doesn't use them, so, you know. And lastly, there's 1 Starlight Road. So, I mean, I guess in Japan, multiple destruction is a problem over there or something, so it's whatever. Now, as I stated, the guy didn't have Stardust Dragon in his extra deck before, so I just wanted to state what he actually did have in there. It was Eevee Gishki Marrowgeist. Now, I assume that they use this to put, like, Dandelion and stuff back into the graveyard, or from back into the deck when they destroy it in battle. That way they don't get any of their effects, like their Searcher's effects, their Gravekeeper Recruiter effects, all that kind of crap. It's just something that I guess they use that for. But in both, I think, Sora's and the build that I would use, I replaced it with a single copy of Stardust Dragon, which is in the actual extra deck. Up next is the Blade Armor Ninja. It's basically in there just for the fact that you can use it with a ninja to attack twice during each battle phase. So, I mean, it's a great card. It's just whatever. Sorry, my hand's kind of whatever. I kind of burnt myself earlier. Now, here's the reason why I needed to kind of pick up on the wind monster thing earlier. It says 2 level 2 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material monster from this card to select 1 face-up 1 monster you control. That monster can attack twice during this turn's battle phase. Now, the reason why this is good is because of the atmosphere. The atmosphere becomes very big when it's on the field. If you summon it, absorb a Blackluster Soldier, you got a 4,000 attacking monster. Now, if you use Daigou Steel Phoenix to make it a double attacker, you can do 8,000 damage directly if they have no monsters. So, on top of that, it's a wind monster itself, so you can make it attack twice if you want. You can do the same thing with Stratos, because Stratos is a wind monster. Up next, because we have the DD Scout Planes in here, and you can special summon them like crazy, you have 2 Gachi Gantetsu. It's kind of like your wall. It just sits there and smiles as it, prevents itself from being destroyed a few times. And because all your rank 2s are basically going to only use your DD Scout Planes, if you were to tribute them off for Scrub Raid, you'd be refilling your graveyard with DD Scout Planes for your Strike Ninja. Up next is Gemknight Pearl. It's just kind of that splashable gem. It's a splashable thing, kind of like Gaia Knight. So you got triple Evolvo Chain. This is kind of a very important card for this deck because you want to send your Scout Planes to the graveyard, and it's very easy to put out more than 1 level 4. If you really needed to, you could use this effect to put the Atmosphere on top of your deck, just so you have it for whenever. Up next, this is another card that's actually coming out in Order of Chaos, and it's a very good card. It's the last rank 2 for this deck. It's number 96, Black Mist. It requires 3 level 2 monsters. When it battles, you can detach a material monster from this card, have the attack of the other battling monster, and this card gains the same amount of attack. This attack increase is permanent. It does not say that during the end phase, it doesn't last until the end phase or whatever. So it's kind of a very powerful card if you can get it out. And like I said, if you keep removing your scout planes for your Strike Ninja, eventually you probably will wind up with 3 scout planes on your field. When Utopia, it's usually kind of standard with anything that can actually summon it. Steelswarm Roach is usually just there just to have it, and the last Exceed is Violent Sigma. It's kind of like another Atmosphere or Plasma. It sucks up their monster and does crap with it. So I mean, it's a really interesting deck. I mean, if you guys want more detail on, like, if you want to ask questions about why some of the cards were chosen or whatever, if you want to ask, you can. I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm just making sure I don't get kicked again. But yeah, I mean, I'll have a link to his current meta segment, whatever thing regarding the ninjas. If you guys want a link to the OCG video regarding the ninja deck, I can link that in the thing below. And I mean, if you guys want to play against my friend Sora, he has an account on here. I think this is the account. Hang on. Yeah, thank you for putting the extra thing there. Yeah, here's his account. If you want to face him on Dueling Network, he was online a while ago, but he, I guess, went back to bed. So yeah, that's everything. This video's retardedly freaking long, but I guess it's the last video of the year, so there's a lot of stuff that had to be said and put into this video. Join Duelist Incorporated if you want to advertise your YouTube channel for free. You only get one topic for when you shout out your channel, but you can bump it or post on other people's and whatnot. So I mean, if you guys want to do that, it's there. People seem to keep forgetting that it's actually on there. So yeah, have a great New Year's, you guys, and thanks for the support throughout the year. And I hope you guys continue supporting me or being subscribed to me for the next year or whatever. And I'm praying that by the end of next year I can actually have 1,000 subs. I'm close to it already. But I mean, that would be at least my very least goal for the end of next year regarding my subscriber count. So again, thanks for all your support. I hope you guys have a great New Year's. Peace, you guys, and happy holidays.